everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Beyond the Mountains of Madness, episode 15. It's crazy. I can't believe it's been, over 2 weeks worth of just days of episodes. A little over. Crazy. If we played every day, this would have been 2 weeks, but we didn't, so it's 15 weeks. Anyways, I don't know what I'm saying. We're going to go around the cast and crew. We're going to say who we are and who we'll be playing, and we're going to start with the lovely Renee.
Hi, I'm here. I'm Renee Rhodes. Thank you. It's been a long, wild whirlwind after surgery, but thanks all for the support. And I am playing Lois Greenaway, who is a scientist who has been through a lot. She's been through a lot.
A lot. And I'm sure we'll get to, get to some of what she experienced while she was being NPC'd about a bit. Maybe. We'll get to it. Also, we've got the fantastic Crumpler64 with us today. How are you doing today?
I am doing absolutely fantastic. And again, my name is Crumpler64. I play the character Baxter Wiggins, artist hired to be the cartographer for this expedition. And now we're going to that transition where it's less art, more action. And I'm prepared.
It's always good to be prepared. Like a Boy Scout. Speaking of Boy Scouts of the Antarctica, we've got Jimmersion.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, glad to be back here. Another Tentacle Tuesday. I am Jimmersion across the interwebs there. And I am Hunter Merrill for this expedition. And last week we went down into the belly of the beast and stirred up some shit. We're going to find out what happens this week.
Yes.
Probably not going to be good.
You never know. I mean, it could just be sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. All these things make me think of Little Cup of Joe.
Sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Magical girl.
Yes. It's sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows for Lena, who I am playing. I am Little Cup of Joe, and Lena is getting dragged away by elder things. Apparently, I have made my peace. Whether she dies or whether I for one welcome our overlord Cthulhu, we'll see what happens.
We will see what happens. Yes, and we also have my cousin Pro Restarter.
You sure do.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you do. So, yeah, I'm Pro Starter. Playing Hayden Stewart, a pilot, a crack shot but the knee. And I'm happy to be here with my cousin.
I'm glad. Yeah. It's good to have you, cousin.
Yeah.
All the people that are good to have. We've got a holotale right here.
Thanks. I'm a Hollowtail. I'm playing our psychiatrist Sebastian Wintercroft, and happy to be here again. Loving the transitions; they're just getting smoother and smoother. Also happy that you're reunited. That's beautiful.
Yeah, thanks. We didn't know we were cousins till today. Like 10
It's been a long search.
Yeah, thanks Ancestry.com. Just kidding, we didn't use it. We just talked. But anyways, before we get started with today, you'd think I'd get better at these transitions, but I think I just keep getting worse. We're going to go talk about our sponsors for today. This week, we are sponsored by a new sponsor, After Collapse, which is a new D20-based post-apocalyptic RPG in which you play as survivors hunted by a machine menace. You're faced with adventure and the need to survive in a dangerous world, facing hostile technology, covetous human warlords, clashing pocket empires, and other hazards in the unexplored reaches of the old civilization. To find out more, you can go to shadowfusionbooks.com to begin your adventure in the apocalypse, which, if you like apocalypses, you probably already here watching, because it's called Cthulhu. That's probably what's going to happen at the end of this campaign. But also, we're sponsored by Fantasy Grounds, Counter Role Play's virtual tabletop of choice. All of the lovely dice rolls you see here will be done in Fantasy Grounds, and that's definitely not any sanity loss or anything that's up there. We're also sponsored by, for your in-person games, waylandgames.co.uk, where you can get D&D, Warhammer, and 40k minis for 20% off. They've got a lot of cool stuff. Also, just a bunch of neat other things. Definitely check them out. And we're also sponsored by the fantastic Tabletop Loot. I love their dice. They're fantastic. They make wonderful dice, and I don't drop them all the time. And when we hit 20 retweets, you too can get a set of tabletop loot dice as we host a giveaway, so you can drop them all over your floor as well. Now, let's get started with a recap of what happened last week. Because last week was a bit of a crazy week. So, they landed the planes. They had a bit of a, time slip the week before that. They landed their planes. They saw the tower in the surrounding valley. Hayden almost broke his leg climbing down a slippery slope, but just barely avoided it. They also found what looked to be some kind of sled trails, and they followed them, found a supply tent of sorts that they believe are used by the Elder Things and created by them. They found multiple tools, shovels using human thigh bones. They're very resourceful. And they kept walking, and they found, I almost said they found Renee. They didn't find Renee, thank goodness. They found Lois standing at the edge of a crevasse, a cliff, a bunch of weird kind of swirling energy about, real bad feelings, a lot of signs in Elder Script saying, turn back, go back now before it's too late. And, yeah, they didn't. And Lena and Hunter went out to try to get Lois, and they were just seeping sanity the closer they got to the cliff's edge. They got, about 30 yards away, and then Lois noticed them, turned around, and met them, and they brought her back. Sebastian looked at her. She seemed to be a bit dazed, out of it, in shock. It was really probably the best term to use. She'd seen something.
I have the best friends.
You do. The best of friends. And they very kindly took your pistol away from you, because you were a little out of it. Just protection for yourself and for them, potentially, if you got a little crazy. And also, they went to the tower. Now, inside the tower, there was a ramp going up and a ramp going down. They decided, and it was also very warm beneath them. So they decided, hey, let's go towards the warmth, because these are like tropical type creatures in all the drawings and carvings we've seen. They go down, they find what's probably the living quarters of these Elder Things. Explored it, took a few items, saw a baby Shoggoth in a jar. That was real terrifyingly cute. Closed that back up and stuck it on ice. Went down a little further, saw some kind of workshop room, kept going, and stumbled upon the Elder Thing nursery, where hundreds of adorable little 6-inch to 2-foot tall little Elder Things were chillaxing and being tended to by the 2 nursery Elder Things, which were not very happy to see intruders in their nursery and proceeded to chase them out. One of them got injured and has turned back and is currently guarding the entrance to the nursery, and the other one, on the hot pursuit, has managed to grab a hold of Lena while Hayden tries to shoot out the knee of the photographer. Oh, no, the German doctor, I believe. Yes, repeatedly, and missed repeatedly. So we're going to pick up exactly where we left off with Lena. You just got nabbed by an Elder Thing. Now, I don't remember everyone's Dex initiative, so we're kind of just going to go from, front of the line to the back of the line, which I remember who was definitely in the front of the line was, I believe it was Baxter and Hayden. So, you two, you just seen Lena get nabbed. Just tentacle snagged up by this Elder Thing. So.
She's still there? Or is she flying away?
She's just been grabbed. It hasn't had time to fly away yet. It's just grabbed her. Like, her feet are still technically running, but they're about yay high off the ground.
Oh, hell. I'm gonna take out my gun and start shooting the thing.
Okay,
I'm gonna shoot that thing in the face.
So help me if you miss.
I'm gonna shoot that thing, the thing we talked about.
Okay. Go for it. Shoot.
Bro, how
shoot the knee? Or are you gonna shoot the Elder Thing?
Oh wait, so that was only 1D, so hold up.
Yeah, you can't get away with that.
Ooh, 17. That's an
right.
extreme success.
Are you shooting at the knee or the Elder Thing?
the Elder Thing.
Okay. All right, roll me damage on that for me, please.
Cool. Is there extra damage for it being extreme success, or was it normal?
we'll get a better shot on the body, but the damage will be the same. So you'll shoot it like in its face, which will irritate it more, potentially do more
Yeah.
damage, but the die roll will be the same.
Okay.
So
Trying
a
to get
D10
to
plus
let-
2.
Let her go, you bitch. Ha. 10.
Nice. So 10 points of damage. That is pretty good. Oh, there's this adorable little picture of the baby elder things. Anyways, just scroll down to see what their stats. So yeah, you hit it right in the face. One of its eyeballs. You actually see like the tentacle. You hit it. It just shatters and it emerges from it. It appears to be in pain, and it's going to make a power check to see if it can hold on to Lena with that, as it is not very happy.
Crying loudly.
So it doesn't release her completely, but it lets go with one of its tentacles to kind of grab at its face and like pat at it. So it's not flying away yet, and it's less constricting on her. You can breathe a little easier, but you're still grappled. Baxter, what would you like to do as you were booking it away as well?
Determine if it's hero mode or not. How far away is Baxter from this thing?
Just a couple yards, a few yards.
Okay, few yards. Okay, then it's okay for hero mode because through army training, no man left behind. So he's gonna take the shotgun that Baxter got from Hunter, and I'm gonna want to take a shot, and I want to use my crit buddy.
All right. So you use that crit. So I need you to roll me. Let's see. Shotgun at your distance. Yeah, we'll say it's the full 46. So if you could roll me 8d6, please.
Okay. Now, how do you do multiple dice in front of you?
If you right
Is there
click
just a number?
on the dice, it'll let you select certain quantities. And if you like, I think 5 is the number one, but you can just keep scrolling up on your mouse and it should, or add hit up arrow or something. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've had to roll a bunch of dice. Oh, you keep clicking, right clicking. So, 1, 2, there you go. You figured it out.
There we go.
28 points of damage. You pause for a sec, you take the shot, you line up. You blast what is left of this thing's head completely off, and it not immediately falls because its wings are still out, but it careens into the wall with Lena, and it kind of falls on you a little bit, but because you're being held in front of it slightly, so you're going to take just a little bit of damage from getting smashed into the wall. You can take 2 points of damage, but you are released, and it appears to be dead.
Okay. Yeah, how disgustingly covered in its goop am I?
You're pretty just you're doing some bit. I mean, it was holding you, and it flew off, and it just goes
Cool.
on you.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hashtag blame Baxter.
I'm immersed. Thank you.
Yeah. Did you like the sound effect? Was that good for you?
Excellent.
Right on you. Yep. So, everyone, they can see that this thing has fallen, and it appears to be unmoving.
We're still
and
in
Lena
initiative.
is little. The thing, you can still be running. We're not quite in initiative right now, as the other one appears to be still at the entrance. You guys are almost at the top. It appears to have not left the nursery entrance. You're guessing it's to last ditch guard babies instinct. So it's not gonna
Right, so-
chase you guys.
Hunter will quickly wrap Lena's arm around his shoulder and haul her up. Everybody keep running, keep running. We're going to get to the top.
Gonna keep running.
And so
All
once we
right.
get to that flat landing where all the exits were, the division up and
The
down,
down. Yep.
that's where we'll stop, and Hunter will set Lena down and cover with the pistol and just see. Take a knee and just watch to wait and see if anything else is coming up the ramp.
Give me a spot hidden or listen check.
We're gonna listen as well.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
So I'm like reloading my
I'm gonna
gun.
go. See my spot hidden.
That's my boy.
All right.
Okay, well, this is 71. I failed.
Good.
All right. Did anyone
13
get
out of
hard
40.
success?
Extreme,
Alright,
I believe.
success for
Let's go
Baxter.
double check.
Nice. All right, cool. So I'm just updating your crits. So, yeah. So those of you who are looking and listening, you don't hear anything, and you don't see anything. Appears to be still and silent.
Everyone,
You hear some wind outside, but down the tunnel and up and down, you don't hear anything.
Okay.
everyone, stop. Rest. Sit still. Hold.
It's also pretty cold up here.
Can we
Yeah.
really rest when we've just been chasing?
Yeah, we need to go. We need to get our stuff and leave.
Hold it. Hold it.
Nap time?
No, Lois. No, it's not. It's definitely not nap
No.
time. The direct opposite, in fact. We need to stay awake.
Stay alert.
Alert time.
I will look at Lena real quick. Lena, are you okay?
Yes, like that.
Yes, thanks to all of you. Just a little. She's sort of trying to just clean herself up a little
Uh-huh.
bit.
Yeah,
You're gonna
And
just
not
like
think
a
too much
bruise.
about all of that.
And
You've definitely looked
a
better.
little got in your
Oh,
face.
thank you for your
Just-
honesty.
How's that rock feeling right now?
Oh, right. She'll kind of fuss around in her pocket until she can pick up the stone and.
It feels
How's it feel?
feels the normal temperature that it felt when it was just you guys previously. So slightly
Seems to be
warm.
normal. A little bit warm, but nothing alarming. At least, not compared to that.
We
All right,
need to
here's the
leave.
deal. We left our stuff down at that first exit. We can't go back outside without our cold gear. Baxter, I need you and Hayden to come with me while we go down and get it. Doc, hold these other two. Make sure they're huddled together for warmth till we get back. Make sure no one's injured. We'll be back in 5 minutes.
Very well.
What if you aren't?
Then
Doctor,
wave 2 goes in. Doctor smiles, still awkwardly holding his gun.
Why don't we all just go? Splitting up seems dangerous.
I don't
Yes.
think Lois is in a mindset to see another one of those. And I know I'm
I'm
certainly
awake.
not.
You are awake and you're doing very well, Lois. Very well.
Yes.
Yes, definitely go without her. Very good, Lois. Very good.
5 minutes. 5 minutes. Let's move. So I will lead Hayden and Baxter down,
Mm-hmm.
and we weapons trained on the down slope. We'll
Mm-hmm.
go down to the first exit where we dropped our gear.
You see that because the blood has now kind of looped from the elder things blasted up head. It's kind of lubricated the ramp going downwards, and it's just slowly, with the weight of its body, just going down the ridged ramp. But you're able to retrieve your things, yes. Nothing else has
And-
come up the ramp.
And yeah, we'll come back up the ramp, covering the same way, taking turns.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure we get all the gear and get everyone back at that landing. Everyone's gear back on, dressed up.
Okay.
Doc, is anyone injured?
How are you feeling, Lena?
All things considered, better than I would have expected, but I think I've got a bit of a bump or a bruise. It
Right,
should be
yes.
fine, though.
Yes, of course. He'll take a handkerchief out from his jacket pocket, just kind of hold it out. This might not help much, but it might clear something.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, she'll take a
And,
few minutes to get herself
Mhm.
more cleaned up before
Yeah.
she puts her gear on top of
Give me
all
a
of that.
first aid
Yeah.
check. So, see if you can
Yeah.
put a little snow on that bruise, little ice pack. Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so you gain 1 HP back.
Yay.
Nice. And aside from that, Hunter, I don't believe there's much injury at the moment. I think we got out of that relatively scot-free.
Yeah, but I don't know.
I think that is the praise of the hour.
I don't want
If
to be here
I
when
may
it's
make a
back.
suggestion. Perhaps next time we find a room full of creatures, we don't throw a flare at it.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, and Hunter will. Yeah, that was definitely all me.
Well,
Strictly
Although
speaking,
I
they were all
think-
within their rights to be angry at us.
I see. That changes
Yeah, I
things
think-
slightly. I didn't know
I
that.
think they might have still came after us, even if I hadn't have thrown it. But I think the flare just agitated them more. And what the hell are we talking about? There's some kind of creature down here. What and where are we?
Antarctica.
Creatures are everywhere.
Yeah, but the one thing I will
Very good, Lois. Very accurate
Yes.
too, I must say.
But at least we, even though they came to us, but I'd rather we first found them. That's the part that is important because they could have sprung at us if we were not too careful. So therefore, even though we took measures in terms of a counterattack rather than a proper attack, everything was in control.
I'm all on our side and all of that. Of course I am. I want to live. But I must say in this situation, we are sort of the invaders.
Exactly.
No,
Just saying.
there's no sort of about it. We are.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Are you rationalizing these things? They kidnapped Lois. They've been tracking us. They attacked the last expedition that came down here. We've been getting warnings from people for how long?
Since before we left.
I don't think we need to start having a debate on who's in the right to attack who.
No, consider this though. Now I grew up next to the Lakota tribe. Does anyone know what we did to all the Native Americans once we get this country?
I'll be honest, from Blighty, not heard much.
We have been systematically destroying them. Now, it's not hard for me to run some parallels between here and there. The number of, and Baxter can back me up, there were hundreds of these things. Small. And if one of them could even one of them can outmatch 20 of us humans. Why haven't they left this place and taken over the world already? Why have they
just want
stayed
to survive.
here?
There's something that sticks
Weird.
out to me about all of this. The whole do not wake it, something sleeping thing. Now, I don't think it's too much of a jump to think that might be an even worse creature than what we're dealing with. Perhaps they are its guardians? I don't even know. It all sounds very irrational, but...
Or be like the
Sounds
absolute
completely
wonder.
mad, but that's the best thing I can think of. We have to bear in mind that they are sentient.
Indeed.
Yeah, we have
Why
no
didn't
reason.
they communicate.
Technically, they have
In
been.
a way that is beyond us to comprehend, and that is not their fault, that is our fault.
Hey, you're right, Lois.
They communicate.
Yes. They do. What is this? What are we doing? Is this how they communicate, Lois?
Lois, did they do or say anything to you when you were captured?
Look,
Doc.
Lois.
Lois.
Doc?
Lois.
Just
Slap Lois in the
give her a
face.
moment.
He will try. He'll stop your hand if you try to kind of step in the way, even if I get slapped myself.
Lena will
Then
put
I
herself,
don't do that really,
between
though.
them and Lois.
Lois, Oh, what are you trying to say? Have they spoken to you?
It's not like speaking.
Sign language? Is that what you're trying to mimic?
Their movements? Is that what it is?
I'm sorry, I don't even think I even care if they can speak to us or not. Why don't we just leave?
I do agree with the leaving sentiment. As I said before, at this point, if that's what's down there, I can only imagine what's up there.
I'm a
We
We
still
still
pirate.
have a
have-
chance to leave still.
We still have at least two people down here somewhere that we have to find. Possibly more.
I'm
I
sorry.
understand that,
Well, then we
but
should, then let's be quick about it and be cautious and not try to disturb them anymore.
Yes.
All right?
We just
If-
killed one, so
if we find something worse than that, I suggest we book it without any sort of quota of nobility of going after people. If there's worse than that, we need to get out.
that's right. If you want to stay here, Hunter, and you want to find people, I understand. But I'm not going to risk my life, especially not for Starkweather.
You know where that first tent we came across is, right?
Yeah.
You can go back there if you feel the need. You can meet us there. You can go back to the main camp. And that goes for anyone else.
I'm not leaving
I'm with
until I
you.
find Percival.
Just knowing anyone is missing, I can't stand for it.
I'm sorry, you're not leaving till you find the professor?
I know
I came
he's
to you in
here.
a dream?
There have been signs that he may have actually been here below.
Exactly. And all things considered,
How would he survive
I was
this
just-
long?
he's resourceful. I wouldn't put it past him.
I haven't seen any food.
And feel free to call me crazy, but I believe Lena on this one. The
I have
signs are
reason
here.
to as well.
Thank you
Everyone's-
both.
Everyone's crazy.
All a little bit, yes.
You're crazy.
Thank you.
Good job, Lewis.
Well, since we've
There's a...
all established
Oh.
that we're a little bit insane,
I completely have mind. I have no idea what you're on about. I'm ready to treat you
course
all
you
at
are.
a moment's notice. We just need to find a suitable couch.
well, perhaps
Nap
we'll see
time?
if we can find one in one of these rooms.
No.
Not yet, Lois dear. Not yet.
Doc, when someone comes into your office and says they're crazy, what do?
Sit down, talk to them, take time to learn. See if they really are. A person may think they are, but they may just be having some sort of imbalance or a particular issue that you could talk through, work through, medicate. Mental health
So
is still very early in its development, but I believe there's a lot more that can be done.
But in essence, you search for an answer. Yes.
Indeed. Through a lengthy and
I
safe
wanna-
discussion.
I want and I need an answer to this thing floating over my head.
And I understand that, Hunter. I'm just saying, if we get further and there is something even worse than them, surely as our protector and survivalist, you would have our safety at your forefront and not just your employers.
Absolutely. That is the
Then
deal.
I'll stay with you, and I'm happy to stay with you for that. If we see things worse than that, I cannot attest to everybody's health here. People's minds are snapping, people's bones almost are. I'm
No,
concerned.
I'm
for
right with
health.
you.
Brilliant. And I trust you,
Not-
Hunter, for what it's worth. I
Not
just want to know
bragging.
we're on the same page.
But I've probably seen more than. Well, I saw my share during the war. And I've seen more of my share on other expeditions I've been. But I've never seen anything like what I just saw. And I don't think that's the end of it. I agree on that point. There's got to be something else down here. There's got to be more. Why else would the doctor leave a trail? Was he captured also? But
I don't
there's
know.
just way too many answers, or way too many questions.
Lois, when they were communicating with you, he kind of gestures the same way that you were. How did it make you feel? What did you take from it?
Small.
Made you feel small. And was it hostile, or was it not?
Power?
Power. Interesting. Interesting. And was it the same things as you saw below? Was it the things that took you that made you feel this way?
Small.
He takes out his notepad and sort of flicks to the autopsy drawings he was doing and shows the picture of them and goes, was it this or different?
Many.
Thank you, Lois. You've been amazing.
Just kind of watching Lois's like
Uh-huh.
hand gestures, and like listening to that. I rolled, but I was gonna say, is it possible to make like an idea roll? Gonna get
Okay.
like some idea of like what she's trying to portray.
Trying to get an idea of what she's trying to portray. Charades, maybe? It's kind of, you're not a trained psychologist. Danson?
Lena, you know her best. What is she doing? What is she trying to tell us?
This is not a behavior I've ever seen her make. We did
Could I
both
try and...
see.
Sorry. No.
We did both see the things at the arcade, and I've been reading the writing. Maybe something in that.
She's kind of racking her brain of just like thinking of the visuals that they have seen when they went together and looked at the murals and such, and then all the different writing she's seen. And she'll pull out her notebook of like that stuff and the dots and things, and just find a page to show to Lois of maybe one that she hasn't fully translated.
Lois, you can understand it.
Oh yeah.
Can you read
she just starts reading it really fast.
I didn't realize you could read that.
Thank you, Lois.
She's just
She
reading
can
it
read.
over
She
and
can
over
read all of
and
the
over.
writing.
Are there clouds on those pages? What are we not getting at?
No, she can read all of that writing. The writing I've been learning.
And as that happens, Herr Johann, Dr. Johann, was just furiously scribbling down notes about the elder thing that just kind of attacked you guys. But then when he hears her reading the dots, he's immediately attention shift and is taking down swaps notebooks and just starts writing down more things.
Doctor, I would perhaps recommend not doing that. I don't like what this portends about understanding that writing.
Yeah, could I possibly make given I've seen the wavy arms, I've seen how she's been, and I've seen this, could I make any sort of check with my psychology to see if there's any particular sort of, like, just trying to figure out what to do with her right now, because she seems very broken, almost as well if I can link it to anything that I've previously read about with her strange movements and the rest.
Okay.
And
Yeah, you
certainly-
can give me a psychology check.
Cool. That is a success.
Cool. So she seems to be coming out of shock to a certain extent now. Like, it's kind of, the quietness is wearing off. But she's still like, some people who experience shock have really, like, they don't know what to do with their hands and kind of movements and stuff. So she's probably just coming out of that still and is trying to, but the words aren't quite right. But the reading of the dots, you don't have an explanation for that. All the other symptoms seem to be just kind of maybe starting to come out of shock.
Okay.
But you have no idea about the fluent reading. Like, it takes weeks, months, years to get fluency in, things.
Do I have any knowledge of if sort of pushing Lois on these things as they're doing, and as we've currently been doing, is going to be harmful to her at all?
Depends on the patient. You've had patients where pushing had negative effects. You've had it where it's made breakthroughs.
All right, I think
Psychology is still
pushed
very
her.
early science.
Yeah, it is, and I think after that he would sort of put up a hand and look over to the rest of you and the doctor and just kind of go, "This is enough. We should stop questioning her on these things from now.
Yes.
She's just coming out of shock. We don't want to force something bad right now. It could be better, but it could be much worse, and I don't want to see her have a breakdown here."
I appreciate that,
Doc,
Sebastian.
So Lois, let's
Lena will
keep
take
close
her
to me.
book.
We will walk a little slower and perhaps discuss your life back home. I'd love to hear about your stories.
Doc, on the battlefield, I've seen some shell shock, and what Lois looks a little similar to that. I don't know how much experience you've had with that.
The war plenty.
But food always seemed to help just a little bit. So I think we're going to take another 10 minutes here on this landing before we go anywhere else, and let's discuss and let's eat a little something else.
Granola bar, aka pemmican time.
Yeah, I agree.
And-
Sit down, a bit to eat, and then off. Perhaps more 5 than 10.
And I'm going to sit where I can, and have Baxter sit where we can cover the landing that comes up in case anything comes up. And I'm going to pull Lena over to the side here for a moment. Lena, I had a crazy idea.
Do tell.
The balloon floats closer, intrigued, but only Hunter.
You can. Yeah, I'm still glancing at it, and you can read this creature writing, whatever it is.
To a point, yes. I'm not particularly fluent, but seems I learn a little more every time I see it.
She doesn't look particularly happy to report that, however.
Do you think you can write it?
I don't know. Do I think I can write it, Keeper?
The words you could probably write. You're guessing that the grammatical structure would be completely incorrect, but you could write down words that you know.
Words.
You know danger real well by this point, and stop and turn around because you saw them just.
Do I know,
repeat it.
like, danger in their version of caps lock?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, could you?
I could replicate
Maybe-
a word or two.
How about peace? Apologies. I'm sorry. No harm.
She takes out her book and starts flipping through the stuff she knows.
An education check.
Kai?
See how many words you
I'm
get that
ed-
picked up.
I'm educated,
Oh,
but I think I'm gonna use my grit for that. 'Cause
sure.
That roll sucks.
Normally you gotta say it before you roll, but
Yeah.
I'm feeling
Sorry.
generous after you
Please.
didn't get
Please.
eaten. So,
Please.
I'll just
If
I didn't
If
get
you
to use
think-
them to set myself free.
Her eyes go cross
think
over
Lois
just
could
for a
help.
second.
mhm. Yeah, you saw like there was one where they kind of made peace with this like reptilian-looking race, and you think you know the sign for peace, or at least treaty.
Okay. Yeah, I think it probably takes her a while and a second look, because her notes are probably not the most organized, given the way this script is like real weird. And she's been learning them in a very feverish state anyway, so not her best work. But after a bit, she kind of tries writing something out and tears a page out of the notebook and hands it to Hunter.
This. The meaning is roughly peace, amicable relations, something along those lines.
Baxter, do you have any large paper on you?
How large you need it?
Something bigger than a notebook size.
Got plenty of stuff that we haven't used for what I brought for useful charcoal fetching. And he opens up his pack and lays it out.
Just give me a luck check to see how much unused large sheets of paper you have.
You got it.
Yeah, you've got plenty of. Cartography's not actually your thing, so you have plenty of larger, map-sized kind of paper. You have plenty of it still, unused.
All right, I'll hand Baxter that paper and Lena. Help him make this message large on this paper.
All right.
She's all for this, so she'll go to Baxter and
let's enlarge this if we can.
Okay.
As they're doing that, I think Hayden's just been like standing at the side, kind of like tapping his foot every now and again.
Mm-hmm.
It's like kind of like looking down contemplatively, and just kind of says, kind of like loudly, "You know, there's something we haven't really been discussing with Lois's situation." Being grabbed by one of those things for a brief moment of time, being lost out there for maybe a few hours. This is the state that we're finding her in. Who knows what the state we're going to find Starkweather in. And the professor? He's been here for months. Years, yeah. He's been here for years. Who knows what he's... kind of psychosis has taken hold of him.
Perhaps. And I will be more than willing to assess them once we find them. If we cannot find them safely, as Hunter has said, we will leave. If we find something larger, we will leave. But if we find them, I can treat them, or at least I can try.
We
Yes.
should have at least have some kind of time limit, fail-safe. We can't just go bumbling around until we run across something.
Then we set one. Hunter, fair time limit? What would be acceptable to you?
How much distance did we go down?
You probably went down, like, based on how tall you think the tower is and how far you traveled down. You probably went, like, a third of the tower height down? Third or so? So
how, if we went up,
Mm-hmm.
how long would that take?
So it took you about
Estimates.
3 hours to kind of just do the bottom half.
Jesus.
About 9-10 hours probably, unless it's just a lot of stairwell. Depending on how many rooms there were, it could be anywhere between 6 to 10 hours probably. Unless you got real lucky and there's something right at the bottom.
All right, and now match that with how the time it was from the that creature tent to the tower. What was the
20
distance and time? Yeah, that's right. It was 20
minutes.
minutes. Yeah, it was 20. All right. And about what time is it now, day-wise?
It's hard to tell because daylight the whole time.
We've lost.
There's also no windows, but you kind of are looking out the entrance to the tower. You think it's probably been since you left. Took you about 2 hours. It's probably been 6 hours since Lois was initially snatched. 6-7 hours. But then 3 of that was getting here, so or 2.5 of that. So.
All right. So time is not on our side right now at this current time of day. However, we are in a shelter. There is warmth here, and there is only one I'm going to call it an adult, but there were hundreds of others. And for all we know, they are just as dangerous as the adults. So we can move down back to where that first set of rooms were, where it was warmer. Rest, recuperate, and take a chance. Or we can venture back out into the cold and come back to this again.
You know my vote.
Well, I screwed up. This thing over my head and everything has been, I've never encountered situations like this. So this survival thing that I'm doing, my job, I'm in absolutely brand new territory.
Understandable, but your experience is still appreciated.
What I should have
Certainly above and
won,
beyond what we have.
but I still should have had Lois with me before I ever moved that last tarp. That rock would have saved all of us.
I'm with you.
Rock?
Lena, tell him about the rock.
She pulls the little star-shaped stone she nicked out of her pocket.
It seems capable of detecting life forms. It grows warmer the more there are around.
Those life forms. Them.
Well, we know that now, but we didn't know that then. So I imagine at least now that we all know that information, we can use it. Perhaps we avoid them rather than encountering them or fighting in the future. They sure could take a few shots.
Yes, they're quite strong.
Indeed. I believe our granola bars and the rest are eaten. Shall we continue?
Yeah, Lois, you feel really you feel like energized and fueled up after eating that granola bar, like your pemmican bar. Just
That's fine.
ready to go.
Oh, it was a very good granola bar.
Brilliant. Then shall we make our way up?
I will
Shall I
only
stay in the lead?
if everybody is willing to go.
I'll look at Hayden. You willing to do this, Hayden? We set a limit. 8 hours.
Actually, I'm gonna go back alone.
Good point.
All right,
At the very
everyone.
least, you wouldn't be alone, Hayden.
Doc, is it safe to give Lois back her weapon?
I would suggest not just yet.
Copy. All right, everyone, make sure they loaded. But let's not brandish them this time as openly. Keep them loaded. Keep them ready, but not shown. Baxter, you stay behind Lois and I with that paper and have it ready to flash, just in case we need it.
Agreed.
And we'll start making our way upstairs, up the ramp.
Just as a note, Hayden does not take his gun away. There's full stupid plan. He keeps his gun out.
Keeps it leveled on the doctor's leg.
Yeah. So, I think Lena would keep Lois fairly close and keep an eye on her, but would stay in the front also with
Definitely
Stone,
more energetic
well in
after a
hand.
slight rest and
Yeah.
some
Yeah,
food.
so Hunter, Lena, Lois, Baxter, Doc, and Hayden.
Sounds good.
All right. So you guys go up the ascending ramp. You guys go up for a little ways. Takes you a few minutes, and then it kind of starts to spiral. You're guessing that's no stairs. It just everything spirals in here. It's a matter of how wide and how harsh of an incline it is. This is a pretty soft incline. You spiral up a little bit, maybe a couple times around, and then you enter into a domed circular chamber. It appears to be about 100 feet across. And the arch of the dome, it's about 8 feet above the floor at the edges and about 40 feet in the center. There are 5 ramps that angle up into the chamber from the edge below. They off the other side. And you see that there's a narrow arched opening leading to one of them, and the others kind of appear to be damaged. One looks like it's got like a well-worn trail through it. And you can see that there's a well-worn trail because the floor of this chamber, there's a large pit in the center, but around it is an exquisite, almost looks three-dimensional, but then you realize just the quality of the work, map of what the valley must have looked like when it was lush and green and verdant. You can see there's no color to it, just like all the other carvings you've seen, but it's just depth and ridges and textures, and it's breathtaking, and there's a soft glow coming from the circular pit inside, and you can see there's a well-worn trail, but there's no terrain features. It's just a smooth path to the far right tunnel. And it's a bit warmer in this room than the room below you. Not quite as warm as it was down there, but you feel like just the warm heat coming from the center, the pit, and the slight glow. You think maybe this is the inside of that large cylindrical tube you saw down in the basement area. The lower levels. Maybe it's hollow and you didn't realize it. It's giving off some glow.
And you said the entrances were only like 4 feet?
One's about 4 feet wide. They're
Wide.
8 feet tall.
Okay.
The 4 of them don't appear to be well used at all, really. And then there's one that appears to be very well maintained and used. There's also the dome itself, as you guys look up from the map. Panels that appear to tell a story around it. And you can see that there's Elder Cipher writing on it as well.
All right, is it dark in here? We have to use lights.
Nope. You get a glow. Enough glow is coming from that center of the pit. It's like a soft orange glow. That the room is completely. It's not bright light, but it's well illuminated.
You know what I want to do with the writing.
I know you do. Roll me that Elder Cipher.
I have to.
All right.
Got it.
Doc, use your flashlight. Go down to one flashlight. Everyone, stay close. Follow me, and I nod at Lena, at the rock, and then all around. And I will lead us into this chamber.
You say that, and you see Lois, Lena, and Dr. Johann just Huh? Looking up at the ceiling.
Yeah, she busy.
Taking notes.
All right, now
So-
does this map on the floor, does it cover the entire floor? But there is a
Yes, it's the
pathway around.
entire floor. Yeah, it looks like there's one specific pathway that they've been taking. You notice that it kind of goes around the outside edge of the mountains so as to not trample the intricate carvings of the map of the valley when it was in its prime.
Lena, these things fly. Why would there be a walkway here?
Yes, they do. Sorry, what?
This path, it looks worn to me.
Maybe
That
they
would
shuffle
imply that somebody's
hard.
been- It would imply that somebody's been using it, obviously. Give me just a moment. I'm almost done.
Mm-hmm. So, just glancing at the well-worn path, it's like taken, and the durability of the stone that this room's made out of, in the rest of the tower, pretty much. That's a very frequently used well-worn path. Probably not so much lately, but as you can kind of see that there's a, coating over it. But it was used a whole lot. They do have feet. You're guessing they walk, probably, and maybe indoors in certain places if there's not much room to fly. They got weird 5 tentacle feet,
They shuffle.
triangle-shaped footprints on each end of their little foot pods. So,
All right, everybody look around, see what you can identify, see what you can make of this place.
all right. So I'm gonna say what Lena and the doctor are able to decipher from each thing, and then I'm gonna say what Lois gets from each panel, and what she can
boy.
expand upon with her new knowledge and insanity.
Wait, there's no warmth from the rock?
There's warmth
Rock.
coming from the pit in the center of the room. That's also where the light's
mean-
coming from.
Lena's
Oh,
rock?
no.
Okay.
Not any more than just, however many humans are in the room. You guys can see, because humans can't turn invisible. So you're looking at the first panel. You can see that it's a battle scene. You see that there's a knot-like kind of symbol with claws. You see battles on land and in water, in the air. And you see lines. Actually, slight color on the ceiling bands here. You see, looks like elder things and these other things fighting, and they win very rarely. The elder things are getting their butt kicked. Lois, you know what these spiral things are? They are called Migo. They're stronger than the elder things, and they had a war, and they were kicking the elder things' butts. And it was a very long, very, very long struggle. Longer than any human could comprehend, but they were winning it. Band number 2. You see 5 elder things standing before a crowd. Above them, you see a lot of great symbols above them, and then lines of force kind of going down into a valley. You see that there are some pentacles kind of shown in the shapes. It kind of almost reminds you of the mountains that are surrounding this tower. And you see some shapes are getting caught in little boxes and cages as they get drawn in by these beams of force into the tower. And you see the elder things taking these boxes and touching the little spiral baddies. And in the battles where these boxes are shown, you see the elder things win. Lois, you see that you're like, oh yeah, the leaders of the elder things said that, well, we physically can't defeat these things, so let's bind into service some things that can. So they made an immense device that was meant to call out chaotic angles and creatures from the outside and draw them in. And another device was created to trap them and bind their energies in service. The third panel. You can see lots of construction. Literally miles tall things sunk into mountainsides and intricate patterns beneath the soil. You see not just the tower itself. but little lines kind of radiating outward from it. And you can tell Lois that they used all of their resources to build these 2 devices. One is referred to as the Great Lure, and it was sculpted out of the mountains. And it was placed here at the pole of the world to center all of the energies and to set in operation. And then the other is called the Trap. And it is the device meant to hold all the entities that arrive in, groups and waves and stuff. And it goes deeply into the Earth's crust for hundreds of miles, anchoring all of the power to the core itself. And then kind of look from that series of panels to the next one, and you see machines, lines of force radiating out from them, and you see that they're, using the boxes. You see that Lois knows that it was a complete success. They were able to trap small powers from neighboring curves of space and time. They were able to lure them in and trap them, and used it to halt the advances of the Mi-Go and win. Now, Lena, you're looking at this next panel. You can see these machines are working, and based on there's very detailed trees and everything in here. You would guess that based on kind of the time, if you had to use your archaeology to figure it out, you'd think that this is the Cretaceous period. You can see some dinosaurs kind of like tromping around and stuff. You can see that there is one huge symbol, not the bunch of little ones that you've seen up to this point. This thing dwarfs even the mountains shown in the frame. It is drawn into the pit like a descending moon. And you can see that this is the most deeply engraved and carved thing you have ever seen in any of the murals. It's shown it being pulled into the pit, and nearby mountains topple, the ground splits in countless places. This reminds you of like a theory of a meteor hitting the Earth, and then a bunch of stuff happens. You know, Lois, that this is an outer god, perhaps? This is when it was trapped. This is the thing in the pit that you saw. It is more powerful than it was ever intended to be able to be lured into here, but it let its guard down, and that's how it got trapped here. It is only barely contained by the trap, and the other things had to fight viciously to keep it in there. The entire region was pulled and twisted about and reshaped. And it was bound, but it wants to be released so bad. You know that. But it says here that it can't be released because it's simply too powerful, and if it was, then the whole world would be destroyed, but it wants to be free. So the next panel is recovery from this earth-shattering event. You saw cities were toppled, oceans moved, everything kind of plates on the world shifted and changed. And it took many, many years to recover. That's basically what you get, Lois. Curse it, they trapped it, and then they had to recover whatever. It's whatever. The last panel, you see that other things again are standing before a crowd, reminiscent to the start of the second one. The symbol floats above them in the distance. Mountains can be seen. You can see that in one frame, the symbol breaks free and the world explodes. And then you see in other diagrams, plan to reinforce the trap and the tower. And shows interesting plants and animal drawings and diagrams, apparently being used to help rebuild, maybe? You don't recognize any of them. Lois, you know that these plants and animals are used to strengthen the trap. So that way, hopefully it would never fail. That's what it says, but I want it to fail so bad. And in the last panel, you see a very different Antarctica than you know today. You can see the construct, the tower, and the valley, but you see all these other lines, and on these scripts of dots, which you can read, it says city, city, city. It stretches out to a bunch of other cities. These, you could call them ley lines, perhaps. And it looks like maybe in the picture they're being drawn, energy's being drawn from them to the tower. You know that these are conduits and heat exchangers, Lois. These are what was once very efficient at keeping the tower up and running, but a lot of them have broken down. A lot of them disappeared to time. And that's what you decipher from this. It takes you guys about half an hour to really fully, like 20 minutes or so to really fully get all this down, but it's very interesting.
Okay.
Kind of gather
I'm
that
no
there's
historian, but this story is incredible.
Story.
Story.
That's the way to put it.
And what does it say, only? For those of us who can't read this.
Yeah.
I've gotten
It's-
some of it, but I'd be very interested to hear what you've got to say on it, Lois.
I think we all would.
Sprinkle that.
You seem to have an insight.
Well, I'm feeling much better after that granola bar.
I can tell.
Glad to hear it.
Okay, it's a lot. It's a story of war. That's something, well, the world has been familiar with for a very long time. And the group, these creatures, they were losing. So instead of trying to win by sheer force, they tried to outwit their opponents by going above their heads, basically, except they ended up being in over theirs and trapping a much more powerful creature than any of you all have ever seen. And it's here. The world has recovered and things have gone on, but it's still here.
And it still needs to be kept asleep, I'm guessing.
Definitely.
So I look at this little thing floating above my
You
head.
definitely catch Lois going, as you say that. Like, it needs to be kept asleep. She's gonna,
I'll keep an eye on Lois about that moment. Close eye from now on, I think.
Yeah, so you're looking at this thing, this little balloon floating by you. Balloon octopus.
And as I'm hearing her say her story there, Shoggoth.
Oh no, Shoggoths aren't nearly that terrible. That's a whole other can of worms? I think that's the saying. But she's right. There's a big thing trapped there. The
Wait.
tower keeps it in place.
Wait, then everything we've found, all the documents, the writings, just what Lois said and what you just said, Sebastian. Can't let it be opened. It needs to be kept sleeping. We need to stop it.
Yeah.
That means that there are people out there who know about this.
It does.
Remember what? And I forget his name, the guy on the ship. The guy we took to the Australian police.
Oh. Yeah,
I
your
said-
saboteur.
I say his name, and I say he
Remember
said that some people just hired him
Indeed.
because they said they felt similar to his cause. And
Yes.
gave him the notes to give to us.
Well, not only that, but we've been having these warnings about this thing by writing ever since we were back in the hotel.
Yeah.
So yes, there's certainly other people out there who know about this.
You guys know
They
that there's about
murdered
5
people.
survivors of the previous Miskatonic expedition.
I'm wondering what the other survivors have been up to. How they fare, what they know, if they know of this, or if they did just stay at the camp and befall the fate of which we saw before. Did their doctor survive, actually? Aside from Professor Lake?
Mm-mm.
No.
They didn't
Okay,
really
cool.
bring, like, a doctor with them, per se. They brought, like, a medical first aid guy, but he was at the Lakes encampment, not,
Yeah, just checking. I was just thinking.
Lois, were those things we saw the same that were trying to keep this thing locked away?
Yes. See? She just points because
Yeah.
pictures.
Yeah, there's pictures.
There's pictures.
Perhaps we were wrong in attacking them after all. We wish to keep this thing asleep.
Well, my plan wasn't to
Just-
attack it, but I'm sure that's what it seemed like. I just wanted to try to get them to scare them and not follow us, and it didn't work.
Yes,
No,
well,
it
mate,
didn't.
Beside the point now.
It sure didn't.
I'm just hoping it hasn't spread upstairs. They may not be so keen as flowing a flare at their children.
If I'm to go by the things that I've seen in my dreams, I can't believe I'm saying that. Professor Lake seems to have a rapport with them of some kind.
So we progress, we see if we can find Professor Lake, and perhaps he can wave his arms, communicate with them, and let them know that we also wish to keep it asleep. And then what?
Well, he seemed very keen on getting help with that endeavor.
Is
Very well.
the cage plants and animals? Does it feed off of organisms? Keep strong? Or
Don't know. Lois, are you able
Lois
to
has
tell what?
Lois has stopped paying attention. She's over and standing at the panel that is like depicts the elder god first falling into the trap, and is just like staring at it. Stopped listening a while ago.
Lois?
Lois?
Lois.
Hmm?
Especially walk over and sort of just tap her on the shoulder and be like, Lois, are you alright?
Oh,
You seem
yes.
fixated on this picture.
I mean, it's so human, right? Like, you
What is-
have overreaching, thinking you can handle more than you can, creating
Very much.
something that just asks for danger in the pursuit of what? Knowledge, victory.
Hmm. No, that is very human. I agree with that, Lois. That's very interesting a theory. What are you suggesting? That perhaps they did something wrong with this, or do you think there's another way to deal with this issue we're having?
I think that they may be in just as much over their heads as we are.
Interesting.
Well, that's not very reassuring.
But
In
it's
a way,
common
it is.
What it
ground.
means.
Yes,
It's a starting
Exactly.
point for empathy.
yes. The first step is understanding. So let us try and understand. We should move on, yes? Find them, things, see if we can communicate with them. At the very least, find Professor Lake and have him do so, if not. We wish to keep this thing asleep. They wish to do the same. We need Starkweather and to leave. Perhaps we can come to an agreement on that matter.
So does the ramp continue up outside of this room, or do we have to go through this room?
No. The ramp ends at this room, and then you gotta go up if you follow the path to the ramp at the far right, that one keeps going up.
A question. As that was happening, what was the German scientist doing? 'Cause I've been watching him for a bit.
Oh, he's watching Lois and basically copying down what's on the ceiling. He and Lena were like doing the exact same thing, and then once he kind of finished and Lois started talking, he like reopened it and kept
Lexington
going. She looks very confused.
Yeah.
She's like, what? Common ground.
What?
Things. What?
I have money.
She's also, just kind of like adjusting her parka. And Priestley, the photographer, is taking pictures of the room, obviously.
All right, same marching order. I'll lead us along this worn trail as best I can and continue up the ramp.
All right. Climb up the ramp. This ramp is much more steep than the previous one. You can see that it at one point had a bunch of cross ribs to kind of aid with traction, but it's smooth in the center, and it gets more near the edges. You can tell this is very well used. It climbs up over the top, a few spirals around. You're guessing enough to get over the hall that you were, and then here the walls open up, and it's beautiful. You can see that there are 5 immense kind of vestibules that open up like petals from a flower, 5 of them, and they're filled with complex lattice work of crystals. And if you shine like a flashlight on them, and it's just thousands of them of different shapes and sizes, and it casts prisms and rainbows and almost arcane-like reflections upon this room. And it's breathtakingly beautiful, and yet slightly unsettling at the same time. And in the center of this room, you can see a man standing with his hands on a more rounded piece of crystal. Lena, you recognize this guy.
Do I now?
This
Cool.
Cool.
This looks like a much shaggier, slightly emaciated version of Professor Lake. So
Sweet.
Lois, you also recognize him. Because you've seen him before, too.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
my friend's boyfriend who I didn't know was his boyfriend. It's fine.
Yeah, I think there's pretty much no hesitation. Lena practically almost drops that stone and like fumbles it into her pocket and just takes off running.
Honorable, grab arm what he can of her jacket.
Mm-hmm. Give me yeah, if you're gonna try, if you don't want to get caught, dex checks from both of y'all.
Okay. Check that dex.
Let's see. All right.
9.
So dex is 8.
Oh my god, just barely a success.
All right, my dex is 80.
Ugh. Nope.
Missed.
So you miss, and she keeps going forward.
Lena! Everyone, back against the walls. Hold.
Yep. Sorry, running.
Yep. I'll take 2 steps after her and just hold and watch. Hand on my pistol.
Mm-hmm. Percival?
Make sure no one else gets by me.
He doesn't seem to hear you. He's got his hands on this crystal, and his eyes are kind of slightly rolled back into the back of his head. Rolled up.
Yeah, she'll stop before she gets right up on him or on the crystal, and kind of take a moment to take stock, and then try to call out to him again. Percy, it's Lena.
To give me a power check.
Okay.
I pull everyone inside this room real quick, but we stay close, and we don't approach Lena and whoever this is in the center.
Mm-hmm. So you catch his eyelids kind of flutter, but it doesn't appear to have been enough to pull him out of whatever he's doing.
Cool. She's gonna reach for his hand.
Okay. So you reach for his hand, and as your hand, are you wearing your gloves or no?
I think she is.
Okay.
She would have put them back
you
on
touch-
unless it got warm again.
It's warmer in this room for sure than the room below, guessing because heat rises up. So it's not quite uncomfortable, but you probably will have to remove coats soon. You put your hand on his, and that pulls him out of it, and he kind of blinks and looks around for a second, like startled, and then he sees you, and he puts his hands on the sides of your face and just kind of brings his forehead in to touch yours.
You're alive! You're really alive!
She's crying.
Mm-hmm. He's gonna bring you in for a hug, but he hasn't said anything.
Are you alright? Can you speak? Can you understand me?
He kind of takes your hand and places it onto the crystal.
Okay. She'll let him do it.
Mm-hmm. And then and you see that his hands are bare. He's not even wearing a coat here.
She'll pull off the glove and put it back.
Okie dokie.
Lena!
Tell me the damage.
All right. So you touch this crystal. And as you touch this crystal, you become part of it. You feel as if you are one with the construct. Powerful energies are coursing through you. You realize so many things make sense. Click, 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 connection after connection. You give me a sanity check, please.
Yeah. By all means.
And Hunter's moving towards her.
Mm-hmm.
Quick at
13.
pace.
That's good. All right. So you realize a lot of what Lois knows. You know that there's a lure, a pulsing blue light, the swirling storm above you, and it connects to the mural that you saw before. You know that the lure is now silent, as the trap is full. The trap is full of an ancient god. You can't see it, and as the crystal's preventing you, but you know that if you did, you would certainly lose much more of your mind than you already have. You can hear and see kind of echoes, mindless howls of this construct. This tower is alive. It has other moving parts to it. And you can feel that within this cage, this creature of unbelievable power and malevolence has already worked its way partially out of the walls of its prison and is trying to feed on the world outside to grow stronger and hasten its escape. You know that the mechanism that holds this cage in place is badly damaged and barely continues to function. Repairs have been made, but they are desperate and fragile. And you get a sense that materials to repair this are hard to come by. Some of the crystal matrices that you are touching right now were destroyed in that cataclysm that you saw. And the new parts must continually be replaced because of accelerated entropy. So you understand this, and you feel your hand being pulled off the crystal before Hunter gets to you, and you lose 5 sanity. You got an extreme success, so that's good. So you only lose 5, and your temporary insanity is you can't speak. You are considered a mute witness for 4 hours. You can't verbally convey the things which you have felt, seen, and heard. It's too much you have to process it and be able to before you can speak. And now you understand why Professor Lake Percy hasn't spoken, but you are able to motion about, and you have most of your wits about you. You were able to, it didn't break you, it didn't break your mind.
So Hunter grabs this guy.
The situation is dire.
Yeah, she looks terrified.
Mm-hmm.
Probably more
Hunter
scared
grabs
than
this
they've
guy.
ever seen her.
Spins him around. Who the hell are you? What is this place? Lena, are you all right?
And like tries to get Hunter away from.
I believe that would be
She's
Professor
like trying
Lake.
to push them apart.
It is. I thought that was obvious.
And what
Doc,
is
I need
that?
you up
Lewis?
here.
A crystal.
Lewis, you don't know much about this crystal because the outer god doesn't know much about its prison, how it's built. But you're guessing that it kind of maybe broke part of. Maybe they need a few minutes. Maybe they need a while to recover before they can talk. Because that feels like a lot of power in there. You're guessing that making contact with it does something.
So I'll go over to Lena and just kind of take her shoulders and say, "Hey, are you okay?" Yeah. You know a lot? Yeah.
She's just sort of shaking a little bit.
Yeah, if you try to speak,
and there
it's
are
just
still
stuttering.
tears.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
just you can't it's just stuttering that comes out.
You're gonna be okay. I'm better after a granola bar, so we'll get you one of those soon.
Yes, perhaps another 5 and a few more granola bars will solve our situation entirely. The doctor will step up and sort of walk over to where they are in the crystal, and we'll
Actually-
just have a quick look over Lena, just check that everything else is okay.
Actually, Hunter will usher everyone away from the crystal and back to the entrance, and we'll have everyone look over there. Baxter and Hayden, check around this room, see if you see anything else, any other beings, any other creatures. Don't touch whatever the hell that is.
Great.
Not now, Hunter. Can you see that something's happened to Lena? That should be our prime focus right now.
It is. We're gonna try to keep it. We don't know what the hell if anything else is here. Can I try to grab the rock?
Mhm.
Then I stuffed it in a pocket, right?
It's just in her coat pocket.
Mm-hmm.
Lena, I'm gonna grab this rock.
She just takes it out of her pocket and hands it over.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So what does this thing feel like? It's the first time I've ever held it.
It feels warm. You don't have a basis of comparison. You know it feels various
Yeah.
levels of warmth.
Lena will
Feels,
touch
I'll
it.
tell her. It feels warm. Is that right?
She gestures at all of us.
Mm-hmm. And also, it's warmer than before you walked into the room. But part of you knows that that's because the crystal matrices are alive, and it's probably picking up on that.
She'll kind of look around for a little bit.
Like gesture at you guys, and then gesture at the crystal.
Yeah.
Can you speak,
All
Lena?
of it.
What's wrong?
Yes, we make the room warmer.
Well, it looks like what Lois was doing earlier. I don't understand.
Bax, the paper.
Can she
Oh,
write
right.
words?
You give me a power check. If you succeed on a power check, you can write.
It just does
It's
Everyone.
the speech capability specifically.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're known as a mute witness.
Yep.
Is that a success on the power?
Not quite.
Okay. You want to spend any luck?
Wow, my white
Nah.
balance went
She'll-
insane for
okay.
a second.
She'll like, she'll probably try and just like it.
Mm-hmm.
Probably scribbles or not.
Yeah,
not-
you see a couple
not
letters,
really
but not like full
Yeah.
words. She's still a little shaken. It doesn't take it only takes half let's see, me.
high up
I see, I
map.
can-
What does high up map mean? Lois, is that in science?
You.
You see, Percival Lake's looking into his coat pockets, and you notice that some of his notes, all of his notes have dots on one side and like writing on the other, and he'll kind of like flip through them like flashcards, and then he finds one and it says hi.
Hello?
I'll be damned. So you're Professor Lake?
Are you also mute?
And you see he pulls out like from another pocket. It's like a yes/no card and just covers no.
Then speak.
He covers no, so yes is visible.
Have you seen Starkweather? James Starkweather. Do you know him?
He moves his hand to the other side, so it says, he goes, taps the yes, and then taps the no.
Yes to the first, no to the second. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Are the things here
Brilliant.
dangerous? Tentacle creatures.
Kind of just wiggles the yes/no card.
Maybe.
Have they attacked you in these last years? You've been stuck here.
He'll point. Like tower, tap tap no. Like a point, like gesture to the area, and then tap no.
The things, he says, then shows the Elder Things picture.
Taps the no.
We killed one.
Neither.
Then he'll kind of look in his cards, flips through some.
You fucked it.
Good job,
and
team.
He'll he'll pull up one that says, can't talk for a couple hours. And then he'll point to the crystal.
All right, so Hunter will sit him down. Everyone, take
And
a
then he
seat.
kind of puts it onto like Lena. Like same for her.
And I'll explain that we are with the Starkweather Moor expedition.
Mm-hmm.
What we've been doing, we came here to the first campsite. We came here and then we excavated your campsite, found all that shit that was left there, and then we started following your markers, and it brought us here. Or actually, Lois and Starkweather were captured, and we followed them here, and now we're trying to find Starkweather and get the hell out of here.
Holds up a sign, says must be fixed.
What
How?
fixed? Fixed? We don't even know what the hell this is.
And he points at Lena and himself and is like,
Lena just looks
Yeah.
really frustrated at this point.
Can you fix it with Leonard?
Doc and Hayden, you guys are better at this speech crap.
Yes, it is my job, he says, and we'll walk forward. Can you and Lena fix this?
Lena will look to Professor Lake.
What materials do you
Um,
need? Quite good with machines.
Lena
Oh.
will,
Wait.
because it's organic material, right?
mm-hmm.
So, she's going to pull out like her
Mm.
pencil or pen or
Specifically-
something that is like,
Give me an idea check, Lena.
yeah.
And I'll give you a plus 20% on that. based on your current connection, because it all happened so quickly. You're kind of able to sit and think about it now.
She's kind of just trying to show something that's like synthetic, not synthetic.
Mm-hmm.
27.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a success.
It's probably a hard success with the plus 20%.
My int is like
intelligence?
80.
Yeah.
My int is 80.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, so that's definitely a hard success. So you're thinking about it, and you're like, this whole thing's alive, this whole piece, part of a network. Kind of like a neural network. In order to maintain the machine thus far, the Elder Things, they've had to use organic material to continually replace it as it wears down quickly. But the only material you can think of would be brain and spinal column, nerves, those types of things to weave into the very delicate infrastructure of the tower.
Okay.
So, you're guessing that a lot of seals and penguins and previous members of expedition. That's probably what happened to that empty ship you guys found. With
Oh
the missing
boy. Yep.
Just go to repair the machine. It's just been
She
so long
looks a
since
little-
they've had a good influx.
Yeah, she looks a little pale.
Yeah. Well, I had already kind of figured it out, and I think it's not like too far of a leap. And I think after I say that, I just kind of say, "Oh no." So you said that this thing is you said that they were taking organic creatures, right, for this place, right? And this place needs something to work it, some organic, I don't know. Then the only logical thing we can kind of think of is if they've taken Starkweather, then they've probably put him in whatever kind of holding cell or preparing station.
You think they're preparing Starkweather as fuel?
And that's what Lowe's was saying when we were reading the murals. It's powered by organic material.
This is madness.
And we have found a lot of bones.
We need to leave. We can't do this. If
How
that's
long
the
has it
case, then
been?
we never be prepared for someone like us.
How long has it
And
been
I'll check my
time-wise?
watch. See how long it's
Yeah.
been.
It's probably since you guys kind of stopped and took stock of the room. When you guys looked around the room, it's just beautiful crystals. If you stare at them too long, you almost... actually, I need a power check from everybody except Lena. Just because you're in this room.
Could you roll mine for me, please, Lindy?
Yes, I
Thank you.
can indeed do that. Oh, you got a 15.
my fucking boy!
Ooh!
67.
That's
all right.
If that's a fail.
Baxter's just like, nope.
Uh-huh. So,
I will
Why
use
is it
5
counterspell? What is Baxter up to?
I will use 5 points of luck to make that one a success for Hunter.
okay. Okie
Down to
dokie.
24.
Anyone fail their power check?
Me.
Okay. You looking into these crystals, you can almost hear whispers. Can't quite make out what they say, and you can almost see visions. Lush greenery in one. You glance somewhere else, you see skyscrapers. You look somewhere else, you see a city underwater. You catch just out of the corner of your eye, whenever you focus on it, it seems to go away. So that's what you know. Also, everyone would have been able, upon looking around the room, there appears to be, in the center of this flower-like structure of crystal matrices, you can see that it goes up, like almost like a shaft to a certain extent. And there's like pulsing blue light up there. And it's It's almost like a stair-like piece of crystal going up to it, but today we would associate it more with like a DNA strand twisting going up. But made out of crystal.
It's like a fly trap.
Yeah,
It's
that's
been about
pretty damn good
20,
analogy.
30 minutes. Lena can make another power check to see if she can write stuff down now.
Are there any other exits out of this room?
Yeah, you can. There is, Ooh! And so can Mr. Lake. He aced that. You both can write stuff down.
Okay.
So it appears that there is another ramp. A kind of, just one that leads up.
Okay.
A little bit further.
While the doctor's helping them two out, I'll go just scout that out for a minute.
Okay.
I'll take the rock.
Okay. So you take the rock and you head on up. You kind of walk up the ramp again, and you enter into a room. This room is the shape of a cone, and you come up to the ramp gets a lot more narrow, almost like a spiral staircase. You come up, and the walls angle sharply inward, so that the ceiling is barely wider in the center of the cone than the ramp. This room is made with pale sandy stone. There's a raised oval that dominates one side of the chamber. There are brightly colored murals, which strikes you as odd since you haven't seen any color at all in any of the murals, but there's brightly colored murals in this room. The floor is recessed all around the edges, and it appears to be covered with debris, which is quite the sharp contrast to what you've seen elsewhere. It's also it's a bit warm in the chamber below you, like almost uncomfortably so. Here it tapers off to like a nice temperate kind of temperature, although it's a lot more damp. It's not that dry heat. It's comfortable. It's very comfortable here. And there appears to be like a slight breeze. There's dim light from cup lanterns all around, and you see that there are 5 little side chambers that come off of this room. And looking at this reminds you exactly of the Pym papers, that book you read, that with Arthur Pym, and how he followed them into the tower, or that structure, and they saw the ritual sacrifice. These rooms, or at least one of them, must be where they prepare for that. Their stone doesn't get any warmer, but this looks just the way it is with the vine. You see that there are thick vines of vegetation actually kind of creeping around some of the corners and in a couple of the rooms. So this reminds you uncannily of that exact same description. It just pops into your mind.
Alright, I'll go back down and get Baxter's attention.
Mm-hmm.
Motion him over. Follow me for a moment.
Certainly.
I'll look at the others to see how they're doing. Anybody
Okay.
talking yet?
No, but
Lena,
Lena appears to be cool to write. Are you writing anything down, Lena?
I think she's still sort of taking some time and is just thinking it through until she like feels a little steadier, and then pulls out her notebook and just kind of starts out sort of doodling a little bit until she's like,
You see
words start happening again.
Percival's face as he sees clean blank sheets of paper. You notice that all of his pieces of paper have like little notes around the edges, like he has to, like he only had this many pieces of paper, and he's just like as he sees like a beautiful sight.
It's like
little tear.
she'll take a couple pages out of it and hand them to him with a smile.
Immediately starts writing down a bunch of stuff. Just so you see, Lena and
Same
Professor
room, pen pals.
have started furiously writing. In the time you took
And
to pick it up.
And what is Lois doing? Take a long look at Lois.
Lois has mostly been keeping her attention on Lena and Dr. Lake and just kind of like watching the relationship between the two. I think she didn't know it was there, and so now that they're in the same place, she's trying to see what she missed.
Just a couple
So she's
of
trying not to be
nerds.
creepy.
Trying not to be creepy.
Trying not to be creepy. I think it still comes off as creepy in the
Yep.
current state. All right.
Doc. 5 minutes
5.
upstairs. We'll be back. 5.
All right.
And I think Lena will try to write the best explanation she can put together about that whole neural network thing, and that the crystals are a living matrix, and all of this. Put it in words that make sense to her. And then just kind of pass off that page to Sebastian.
Yeah, he'll take that. He'll have a look over it and just sort of.
It's a very short summary of what she witnessed.
I see. He reads it, and his eyebrow slowly raises further and further up his forehead. And at the end, he sort of. That is a lot to take in. Very well. Well, I believe perhaps you should take a break. Sit down for a few. Let yourself calm. Try and get your speech back. I have a few exercises we could run through that might help to alleviate it.
If you wanted to try to speed it up with psychology, I'd say
think
that would
I will,
definitely be possible.
Awesome.
Give me a psychology or psychoanalysis
That'd be
check.
a extreme success.
Nice.
She's going to. Ooh. She's going
I'd
to.
say with the roll that good, and the overcome with joy as you and Percival Lake both are, you able to speak again.
And there we are.
My goodness. That was a lot. That was a lot.
Seems like it.
That was perhaps
Still,
very stupid of me, but thank you.
we all do stupid things for love.
Yes, speaking of.
I've missed you so much.
Yeah, she just hugs him.
Also talking. I don't do a lot of that anymore these days. So
Well, we'll get you a drink and something to eat, and perhaps you two should have some alone time. Perhaps take a seat somewhere. You've been standing with that ball for a while.
How long have you been doing that, Percy?
every day, a lot helps figure out what needs repairing.
And how exactly are we supposed to do that?
Well, there are a few things that need to be repaired, but definitely the, well, it might be better to show you. It's hard to describe how it all works.
Let's rest a bit first, I think. We've had a bit of a trek to get to you.
I imagine so. I'm just glad I was able to reach out to you. Dreams are fickle things.
Yes.
This helps. And he kind of gestures to the crystals.
I see. Right. Well,
Well, the
beyond
creatures. Yeah, I know they're not malevolent currently. Their numbers are extremely dwindled. In fact, they're only here today, and the numbers they are now because of the excavation a few years ago. They were on ice, as to put it. Well,
So the excavation is what freed them.
Say that, yes. There was only one of them left here at the tower itself, maintaining it, and it couldn't keep up all the work. It's actually quite fortunate that they were unthawed when they were, or the thing would have been released already.
And if that thing is released, it's not good for anyone, it seems.
No, it'd be the end of the world.
That's
Quite
not
literally.
exactly something we can walk away from.
No, that's why I decided to stay. I may manage to decipher enough of their language to be able to crudely communicate at first, but now I'm not quite fluent. There's so much of it to learn, but getting there. They've allowed me to help as best I can. Very tired of
You've
pain.
certainly surpassed the dreams of any anthropologist I've ever encountered at the university.
Culture is fascinating. It's ancient. They created us. Well, more like we were offshoots of things they had created to serve them, and they didn't even realize that we were sentient until much, much later. But yes, the reason we exist. Kind of like vegetable scraps that became sentient, but you know, some common ground.
That's a fine way to discover your origins as a species. No
Get
matter,
over
we
it.
are what we are.
We are indeed. Thankfully, we are here today. So,
Yes.
much repair work needs to be done.
I don't imagine there's even enough of us here to make a dent in it, though.
Well, every little bit helps.
I'm going to pull Sebastian away.
Mm-hmm.
Just off to the side.
Okay.
He'll walk with you.
Like to the
Yeah,
other side of
take-
the room.
Mm-hmm.
Do you hear what they're talking about so nonchalantly?
Yes, they are talking rather loud, aren't they?
It's... I don't trust this person. It makes sense why they took Lois and Starkweather and tried to take Lena.
Hmm.
The fact that they would just... Think of it this way. If you're desperate to find things, organic things to heal the structure, then you're taking the scraps you could get, right?
And
But
if you wish to have more, you leave bait.
Yes, exactly.
I agree with you.
Happened to the crew. You saw that mess we found. Some of them had bullet holes in, remember?
Yes.
And
Yes,
now
I remember.
we're talking about helping and every little bit.
Yes, is rather curious. I'm wondering about what it is we're here for. I still think we're here as fuel, that we've been baited here. I do not believe that Professor Lake has ill intent, however. But I believe he may be getting used by something of a higher intellect than me. After all, we are scraps of vegetables that have become sentient.
Greater good and all that stuff, right? How many wars have been fought because of that?
Exactly.
What did she give you anyway? Piece of paper she wrote down.
He takes it out and hands it over. It explains a lot of what she saw when she was touching that sphere, that crystal thing, whatever it is. It's all a bit strange, but given our situation, I am prone to believe it.
And him saying that there's not a lot left. You saw how many there were. Those...
I'm wondering if perhaps that nursery is a way of them continuing to fuel it. After all, there was not been humans here for years. Surely, they have to feed this thing in another way. whatever it is, organic material, surely it doesn't just have to be ours.
Now, there's enough wildlife, marine life,
Indeed.
plant life.
There's a whole ocean beneath us, right?
Yes. And I feel if we go to get Starkweather, we're only going to go further down. And I feel like that's just going to be a trap.
I feel the same. They're smart, right? Smarter than us, apparently. What would we do in their situation if we had invaders coming into our home which we needed to fuel a machine?
Slavers.
We'd bait them. We would trap them. We would make them come further than they could, and then we would spring it. Perhaps we were already in their trap in some way. But perhaps we are not too deep to have triggered it, so to speak.
Hmm.
I'm thinking more and more that we get out of here as soon as possible. Starkweather is... It is a shame to lose him. But perhaps a necessary loss.
He surely lost a few people in his turn. But
Well, according
thinking of
to our prisoner that we handed over, he had his suspicions that perhaps Starkweather had seen to it that more people had.
he certainly go back for people when he lost them.
Indeed.
I think of this though, if we did take this back and we did get people on our side, there's the death penalty. Right? Criminal justice
Yeah.
system.
There is.
Murderers. Serial killers. It could easily be transferred. If they don't let us out. If they don't let us out, then you could always use a logical way.
I don't believe in causing harm to others, but I can see that we need to leave. And in all honesty, methods aside, we are in a tower that has strange energy in it, and there are carvings of strange things with tentacles, and I've seen strange things that I never thought possible, so right now, that seems like a viable option. Aiden, I'd stick with you through it all. I trust your judgment. And I'm with you, whatever you do.
Me, you, and Gloop.
Me, you, and Goop.
You hear a little... Because he's in the flask.
That's
Aw.
right. Yeah.
Wait, at what sanity level do you have to be to see him?
He's
You have to be
mine.
below 30.
Darn.
How
Not
much do
there
you
yet.
have?
37.
Oh, no, you have to be in the 30s. I'm sorry. Yeah, so if you're below
Oh, okay.
40. Yeah.
Oh, I'm...
Boy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think pretty much everyone can see Gloop now. So if you let
Cool. Yeah,
Gloop
I
out...
think so.
I'm at 40.
Okay, only
Because
Baxter.
he's mine.
Don't
Perhaps
worry,
we're just,
I'm sure that will change
Shed
very
one sanity
quickly.
point. Just casually shed one sanity point to join us.
Don't worry, it'll happen very soon.
Still hidden. I'm worried about if we do manage to deal with this issue, if we do manage to find those things, escape with Starkweather. I mean, it seems very similar to what's happened with Professor Lake here. They kept him as bait. All of us came. They'd kill us, feed us, whatever they wished to do with us, and then perhaps keep Starkweather, or perhaps keep you, someone famous, and then they get the rest to come after them in a year's or 3 years' time. The next curious lot.
Mm,
It does seem very viable.
it really does. I'm not sure.
I wonder how many
involved in
times
the
this has
whole-
happened.
I don't know. I feel like we're not getting all the answers.
No.
We're only being
And there's
fed
still,
the
there's still,
things they want us to know.
there's still one thing that I wish to know, however, Tikalili. That word that continually was said in my ear by the wind. And I was not hallucinating as such. I want to know what that means in regards to all of this.
As you
Also
say
wish
that
to
word
know-
out loud, you kind of
Yeah.
feel it, hear it, just you, resonate on the crystals in the room.
He looks around for a moment. And when I said it, I felt it around me, as if it hurt me.
Also, if this is a prison to keep people in and lure people, why were there so many warning signs? You put them there.
I am curious about that much. Or maybe it was an ancient warning to say, don't come in, this is a place that we cannot let you in, danger. We have sealed it. Whatever that says here.
I don't know.
Neither do I.
Look at them. And I'm gonna like look at like Lena and her husband or whoever it is, boyfriend. Cthulhu husband.
Professor.
Professor husband.
The object of her smooches.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think with Sebastian, I think that's kind of what throws up.
Yeah, they'll look at you and just go, I won't begrudge somebody for having someone they love. I don't believe he has malicious intent, but I know what you mean. He pats you on the shoulder and sort of tucks away the bit of paper that Lena gave him. Just breathe. Breathe, keep calm, do your best. Worst case scenario, we book it.
You, me, Goop, and Baxter,
And whoever we can take. I wish for Hunter to survive, in all honesty. I wish for all of us to, but we'll see what comes of it.
You hear a little. As the little top to your flask unscrews itself from the inside, and kind of like pops up.
Hello, Goop.
It's real tired of being in there sometimes.
I understand
Oh,
that.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Oh, we're in the tower now. That's cool. See
I love
anything
and hate
neat?
his voice.
Nothing neat, no, nothing neat at
Oh.
all. Strange
Are you
things.
sure? Well, strange can be neat.
Yeah, no, not in this case.
Oh,
Weird tentacle creatures.
tentacles can be fun.
I have many questions, and I do not wish for any of them to be answered.
I don't
Somebody
have
clip that.
tentacles. I'm just a gloop.
You're perfect the way you are.
Yes.
You're such a good friend.
And Lena, you hear a tiny voice. And Lois, you hear a tiny voice coming from over where
Oh.
Hayden and Sebastian are talking in a corner.
Is there a child in here?
You.
She's gonna look over to where you all are.
No.
Who was talking?
That was Hayden.
That was just me.
What?
You do voices now.
Keeps me sane.
Yes, it's a technique we've been practicing. He does silly voices and it makes him feel better.
It's a British.
No.
Yeah,
No.
very British.
No.
I'm-
I'm quite sure I heard something.
Are these
would
more
be-
friends?
Very good, Hayden.
Thank you. Ventriloquism as well.
Yes, it might be time to put
Really?
a coordinate.
Yeah, just keep looking.
You're trying to like push
Pat, pat.
Goop into the class.
Wait,
Poor
I
Goop.
meet new people.
Monsters!
Relationship.
Oh my god.
Now
how's
who's keeping
Professor
who
Lake?
prisoner?
Yeah. What the heck, man? The morals of this party are something else.
They decline, as is every Call of Cthulhu group. So, Hunter and Baxter, you went up the ramp to take a little look around.
Yes.
Right.
And we'll just go in a clockwise around the room and
Mm-hmm.
keep an eye out for anything moving, and just take a general stock of what's in this place.
Give me spot hiddens, please.
That's good.
12. Excellent. So, you notice that all the lights in here, they're slightly different than the cup lights you've seen previously. Rather than being as if like pulled from the stone, these appear to be like the top half of human skulls. And they're smeared with some kind of... Maybe these are more like, they have actual flame to them. They're not glowing fungus. They're brighter light. Looks maybe like some type of fat or oil. Kind of liquid. You see some kind of thick, fuzzy pieces of some kind of mold, which kind of has that greenish glow, but it's more of an actual flame on these. And you notice that the plants, these big vines that are in some of the rooms and around the doorways, you notice that they pulse.
Did I see anything like this in my dream?
Not quite, no. These don't
Everything
look like
was
the plants.
huge. There were large plants and trees.
These are very large plants, and they kind of remind you somewhat, but they're off. They're not quite like the ones that you've seen. If you want to get a closer look, you can get closer to. There's plenty of plants around.
What else?
Kind of pulpy vines.
Are they in the center of the room? Or are they in one place?
There's a bunch. You see some. You can kind of see some through. Some in some of the chambers you can see, and then there's some on either side of that kind of oval-shaped, almost altar-like thing. Mm-hmm.
I want to look at the one of the flame things first.
Okay.
Is it putting out any heat?
Yeah, a little bit.
What color is it? Is it red?
It's kind of like a greenish flame.
Green flame! Had to.
Green flame! Yeah.
Just wave my hand over it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you still have the stone with you, it doesn't feel any warmer up in this area, so you don't think there's anything in the
still in this hand. Alright, so yeah, just wave my hand over one of the flames there and see if it like it would burn.
It doesn't burn. It gets really warm. If you held it there, it'd get really uncomfortable, maybe eventually burn, but it's like a low heat flame. Mm-hmm.
Alright, so let's look at the chambers.
Mm-hmm. Alright, so
one by one
the thing
around.
that we noticed also about the plants pulsing, it's very rhythmic. It's not like sporadic, it's like almost like a heartbeat.
Does Baxter see that? Baxter, do you?
When you point it out, he does.
Yeah, you kind of have to guide him here.
I just want to make sure it's not something else I'm imagining.
Yeah. I see it. I see it too. Well, thanks to you, I see it.
I touched my blade for a moment with a thought, and maybe later. Let's look at these. Let's search through these chambers first and see if we can find anything else.
All right, so you're gonna look into chamber number 1. I'm just gonna do an order.
Yeah, just go around.
You see that the outer wall of this chamber is badly damaged. There's huge cracks, and a little bit of rubble's fallen inward. It's now fitted, like sealed with ice, almost. It looks like, kind of glistens wetly. You notice that there's web-like strips of hide and fiber running great numbers between the face of the ice, and there's a central tub into this room. It's set into the floor, almost like, like a sunken in hot tub, but it's just a stone tub. And the walls kind of slant, and the floor slants a bit too. And there appears to be another, like, thick rim around the edge that is indented into the floor. They're heavily eroded and rounded as if they've been used a lot. Each chamber's 5-sided. There's no decorations on any of the walls. And there appears to be, on one near the tub, like an indentation as if something would be placed there.
What's it shaped like? The indentation?
It's almost like you could put like a bowl or a basket there. sound rounded.
Alright.
Inside the tub of this room, it's filled with kind of like a thin gray-black ooze. And you almost don't notice it except for all the thick, meaty stalks and runners of plants that appear to be almost gulping it out. And you see ice kind of slowly melting and sliding down these web-like runners into it, almost like kind of macabre water fountain. So it kind of looks like these plants are drinking the water from this tub.
Any ideas, Baxter?
I wish I could come up with an answer.
Yeah. All right. I'll make a mental note of it and go to the next chamber.
Okay. Chamber number 2. It's in badly shaped as well, but not quite as bad as chamber number 1. There's a bunch of cracks, and you see that there's some erosion and stuff, but the ceiling is cracked and broken in places, but not from ice, like you said the other one. This one looks like great numbers of fronds and tendrils push from the ceiling, kind of drape into the floor, and then, again, are in the center of this tub. And this one, the tub is filled with a dark, soupy substance. It looks like it has the consistency of like a thick porridge. It's like parts of the surface are crusted over, but you can see like in like cracks in other areas. It has like a glistening interior, and you get like a really nauseating smell of dead things and rotting flesh. And you can see the pulsing again in the vines and leaves here.
It's the same type of vines and leaves as the previous room?
Mm-hmm.
And are they coming from the ceiling or through? It looks like they're coming from outside through the wall.
Maybe from the floor above you. Through the ceiling.
Looks like there's another chamber up top. These look like roots to me now. What do you think?
I'm just surprised anything can grow down here.
Yeah, but we're also up on a tower. Yeah, I know.
Lands, or are they dependent on whatever eco land this is running from?
Gus's guess is as good as mine. I have no idea.
It's good, because guesses is all like I'm probably gonna give you.
Next chamber.
All right, chamber number 3. You walk into this one, and this is filled with bones. Thousands and thousands of bones, haphazard piles. You can see that the bottom layer, kind of just from, some of the piles having fallen over, is literally just bone dust from how ancient a lot of these are. You see animals, humans, other strange things you don't even recognize the skeletons of. A T-Rex, other things. Just piles and piles. All these bones, none of these bones look new. They all appear very, very old and covered in dust.
Is it the same shape of room as the previous chambers? With a tub and...
You can't tell if there's a tub, there's too many bones. But it's the same shape. You can tell it's got about 5 sides.
Vines?
No vines in this one. You can even see, as you... Give me a spot hidden.
Hunter, you're saving Baxter's life right now.
So, you're looking along, and you see that, on this side of the room, you kind of step into the door and look a bit nearer the door. You see that there are more recent bones here. Almost all of them are a lot of seals and a lot of penguins. So many seal and penguin bones. But you could see a couple of human skeleton bones in there as well.
All right, I'm that T-Rex one. I have no idea what a T-Rex is. I'm just gonna, with that roll, I'm just gonna.
You've seen pictures in the libraries or whatever, or newspapers.
Yeah, I'm just gonna grab that bone or
Archaeology is
skull or
big at this
whatever it is,
Mm-hmm.
and take this back to Lena. Maybe she knows what it is.
Mm-hmm. At this point, it's been a little while, and so you should probably either call them up here or go back down there.
Okay. Can I see into the other chambers from where we're standing?
Mm-hmm. You can't not like extraordinarily well. One appears to be have some plants in it, but they haven't their vines haven't made it to the tub. They're just kind of they look a lot smaller, like little baby vines or roots. And it's got a grayish tub in it, and then the fifth one as well. Pretty much.
All right. Well, we've been talking. We haven't been exactly silent. So if anything was in here living, it'd probably been alerted already. So, Baxter, I'm going to check out these other ones. Go grab probably the group and see if they are in a condition to come and check this out. We need the brains up here to figure out what the hell all this is. Maybe there's more answers here, maybe not, but
I agree with you.
It's been 5 minutes, so.
But I'm gonna be honest, I don't feel comfortable abandoning you.
I'll be all right. If you hear anything, I'll give a warning shot. Just make it quick.
I hear that phrase too often, but I trust you.
Yeah. Downstairs.
So I'm not.
Yep.
So I won't enter the rooms. I'll just look at and stand at each of the other rooms that I haven't been in yet, and just visually gaze. I won't walk in there and search anything.
Yeah. Okay. Just kind of wait for them to catch up. You don't want to be split up for too long. All right. So you guys are all down there. You've just shoved a gloop back into your flask, and Baxter comes downstairs.
Everyone.
Baxter,
It's gonna sound weird, but I acquire brains up here.
This is not really the place to phrase anything like that, you realize.
Probably not, but I believe it just means he needs our smarts.
We found plants, we found bones. Me and Hunter can look at them, but in terms of proper identification, we're just guesswork up there.
Very well.
All right.
I'm happy to help with
Let's
my
get moving.
brains.
Well,
Baxter tries his best
with your
not to laugh.
intelligent thinking.
Let's get
That's
moving
all
on,
right.
shall
You
we?
all right to come along?
Yes.
She's not leaving him in this room by himself.
No, of course. There's
Right.
fantastic murals up there. You'll love them. I'll show them to you.
All right, everyone, on me. Let's go.
All right.
On it.
Everyone heads up, and they're all in that chamber as well. And you do see that there are fantastic murals up here. Very colorful, strange colors, vibrant colors. You can see that there is 3 panels, and then, but 2 stories, you can kind of tell. You see one is, and Professor Lake will start to tell you about it. This one, I believe, is
You're talking now, Doc?
Yes, we feel much better. The doctor was able to help us out.
So we brought them round. They can speak.
Yes.
Look at Lena, and
It's fine.
good.
Yes,
Lois.
much better.
I'm feeling fine.
I'll hand Lena some kind of skeleton here. Some room of bones over there. I have no idea what this is. Looks big.
It's a T-Rex claw.
Just hand. Oh, okay, I was like, you just handed me a what? Rocks and bones. That's what everybody keeps handing me for some reason.
Hey,
Cool, cool.
I gave you.
We did
Yes,
want to
I'm the
find the T-Rex.
archaeologist.
Yeah.
Should be used to it. You should be used to it from Hunter by
Aw.
now. Yeah, and I'll give you the rock
Right.
also.
Yeah. Here's,
Yeah.
here's
Here's the rock,
here's
here's
the
the bone.
stuff I found.
It's habit.
All right. This
So
looks
what
like
else
a-
did you find?
Well, this appears to be a claw from a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Oh,
Seriously?
that's-
What?
Well, that's one thing off of my checklist, apparently.
Oh, goodness,
That was not what I expected.
Didn't that when the people who worked the drill wanted to get one of those or something?
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
gift from Quebec, eh?
indeed. What a souvenir. Like, yeah.
sarcastic about it.
Well, there's
Yes.
probably a ton more. There's probably hundreds more in that room over there. I'll point to the bone room.
Mhm.
But I don't know. The other two rooms look like it might be feeding a plant that might be another chamber upstairs. Plants,
Yes,
huge
yes.
roots here.
First of all, do you know what that's for?
Yes, it's all the murals here that explain it. Here. And he points to the first one. He says this, and you can see this is when they built a temple, which is meant to contain the deity here. That's why the tower was added onto. Here in this second scene, you can see that there's you see a lot of fleeing and cowering elder things, that big complex symbol, and the mountains around it. And you see a bunch of them dead, like in flight and flailing about madly with all its tentacles. And you see it getting larger in succeeding frames until it's surrounding a tiny globe, but you look, it's like, oh wait, that's Earth. And so he says, as the construct began to break down, the unknown deities, malign influence kind of burst into the world a bit, planet-wide. These elder creatures were terrified by its suddenly growing presence and feared that if repairs were not made at once, it would free itself and consume the world. And so here you can see where they jury-rig some kind of a fix. And you see that they're a bunch of them rising from the sea with a company of just kind of amorphous blobs with a bunch of eyeballs. You see them capturing a bunch of small stick-like figures and various humans and animal shapes. And you see them moving through dark tunnels and are shown standing by the tower. And then you see there are several frames that depict the captives in large tubs being eaten by these amorphous blobs with a bunch of eyeballs, except for their heads. Their heads are placed into bowls and carried away with what looks like great ceremony to a tall, kind of fleshy creature with a myriad of fine line arms and a big body. And it shows them leaning close, like almost like in prayer with all their heads bowed towards it. They built a mechanism. They lost a lot of their technological advances, machines and the like. That is what got them into this situation. So they moved on to you could call bioengineering. They built also the outer god basically almost broke out of the mechanical device, so they bioengineered one. It's crude. It was a crude and desperate attempt, but effective. Living systems were built out of nervous webs of animals, and the more complex the nervous system, the better. And they used it to repair the structure, and you can see that the repair succeeded, although it was required replacement every few years or months, and it was again contained. And while the results were praised, many of the elder creatures, especially in far away societies, such as I believe Atlantis may have been one, and one off of Tierra del Fuego, they forgot about this. Out of sight, out of mind. They didn't think about their problems anymore. And this one, and you can see this panel is on the other side of the room and is in stark contrast to the other two. They're very recent, and it doesn't have that, and it has a glossy finish that the others lack. These are those two panels unfinished, and you can see that there are. This scene is a lot more familiar. You can see that there are a large number of things engaged underground in some kind of activity involving digging, and then a wall collapses and a thick wave of substance covers them. You're guessing maybe they hit the underground ocean. And then you see a bunch of panels with them just awakening in a flat, formless place, surrounded by small little tents, and wolf-like creatures attack and are destroyed. Little stick figure people attack and are destroyed, and then they gather supplies as one stick figure is able to communicate. You see, like, a little stick figure holding up a sign with 5 dots, and it says peace. and you see them gathering things and performing some kind of funeral ritual around a few hummocks, and then flying towards the tower. And you can see hunting seals and penguins on ice, digging through buildings, trying to salvage things from a long-lost civilization. You see that there are signs of dismay, like sorrow, like dark, sad colors, and many, many funerals everywhere. And you see them tending thick vines or trunks, and basically trying to rebuild. And you see the last mural, still unfinished, shows a very recognizable airplane surrounded by human stick figures. And you recognize this plane, Hayden. This is your plane. Meanwhile, while Percival is showing you all this, Lois, you're bored.
Yeah.
These murals are boring. There's some interesting rooms that are kind of, everyone's attention's at the professor. He was very good at keeping attention in class. But there's a room with a tub in it behind you.
Yeah, I think the more I hear and the more I've heard all day today, the more I'm worried that my friends' goals don't necessarily align with my own, and that's putting me in a bit of a tricky situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to fight them on it, really.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know that's, like, this is a losing fight anyway.
And they took your gun!
They took my gun! I wouldn't have shot them, don't worry. But yeah, I think
I'm kidding.
She came up here to, like, lend her brains, so she's gonna start looking around, and I think after checking in a few of the rooms, she'll end up at the fourth one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, inside this room, scroll. We'll scroll the wrong way. Sorry. You see inside this one, this room's cleaner, still unmarked, like the rest of the rooms. You see that there are a couple of lamps in this one, which weren't in. They're on the other side of the door, so you don't notice them until you kind of walk in. And you see that there is a slab on the far end of the room and the tub. And there appears to be a couple dark stains near this tub, and small square with an impression in it. Give me a listen check, Lois.
Could you roll it for me, please?
I could. You also have some nat 20s.
I do, actually. Let's use one of those, yeah.
Okay. So, with the nat 20, you hear some slight noises coming from inside of the tub, and you notice that there's the slightest of ripples in its surface with the nat 20. And if you get a little closer, you see a few eyes open on it.
Okay.
It looks curiously at you. Like they're all like they're not like angry eyes. They're more like whoop, big eyes.
Yeah, I think I'll kind of like crouch down a bit and look back at it.
Mm-hmm.
And do I know what this is from my experience with the Elder God outside?
Looking at it and thinking, and you kind of look at it, and it looks back at you, and you see it kind of slurps out of the tub a little bit. Not out, like, past the rim. It stays in there, but more like as if someone was to, lean up on the edge of the pool. It's kind of looking at you. More eyes begin to open, and kind of a couple of tendrils. You think this is a Shoggoth. And you know that some Shoggoths have certain goals. They're all slaves to the Elder Things. This one, because it lives in a tub, you think this one might be a corpse eater, which kind of half listening in behind it, you're like, oh, that makes sense. This is what eats the things that gets integrated into the trap.
Okay. Okay.
This is what separates the nervous system from the rest of the body.
So, I think she spares a quick look back at her friends in the hallway who don't seem to have noticed she's gone yet.
Yeah,
And
could I have...
then...
Sorry, given it's been a while
no, yeah.
and I've been looking after her, am I able to sort of notice, wait a minute, where's Lois gone?
Give me a spot hidden, Sebastian.
Okay. That is a 26, which is just a normal success.
Okay, so you're like, oh, Lois isn't right next to me anymore. And then you kind of look, and she's not in the vicinity, the immediate vicinity.
Okay. He'll kind of have a wander around and just slowly, not really any urgency, given there's not really been any danger around this area. Begin to look through each of the doors and just try and find them.
Yeah. You look through one, a lot of plants, drinking water, a lot of plants, drinking black porridge. Oh yeah, the bone room. And then you're gonna wind up at room number 4 in just a minute. So once you glance over, they don't really appear to have noticed your gun. Sebastian started to look in some of the other rooms. Kind of like sticking his head into the first room.
So I think she's kind of pausing to think. She's looking at this thing, meeting its eyes.
Yeah. More of its eyes keep opening, like the longer you look at it. And more of it, like tendrils that kind of start to come off.
She keeps
kind of
hearing her friends
up to the very lip of the tub.
It's so cute. No, I know.
It is pretty adorable at your current sanity level.
Yeah, I think that I'm gonna kiss it. I think I'm gonna kiss it.
Give a little smooch.
Yeah, I want to like pet it and kiss its forehead. Like you do.
So you
with the dog.
You go like pat it on its head, and it's slick to the touch, a little slimy, almost like like dog drool. Kind of reminds me of that.
Okay.
And then and its eyes kind of like little like the happy squinty eyes, and it makes like a little.
Oh, that's really cute. I kiss it.
All right. And as you smooch the Shoggoth, the corpse eater Shoggoth specifically, it kind of wraps some of its tentacles around you and begins to pull you into the tub with it. It's a great hugger. It is.
I know, and I hug it back. Is Sebastian there yet?
Yes, Sebastian walks in and peeks his head into room number 4. Right as this is happening, I would like you to make a sanity check, Sebastian.
If we hear, do we hear him
God, no,
shout?
that's
Can
a
we
horrible failure.
oh no.
Yeah, he will scream out and he's like, Lois, and draw the gun and just...
And as you scream, Lois, you can answer him. if you'd like. If you just pull your face out.
Yeah, she
And
does that.
Everyone else
and just
is gonna hear that and probably turn and see it as well.
gives him a smile and says, "It's for the best. Don't worry." And then she just smiles and dives in.
Just disappears.
Yeah, he'll like. I failed my sanity, by the way. Horribly.
Yeah, I need everyone else. If you turned around and looked when you heard Lois, look over as
Yep.
you see Lois saying, "It's for the best."
Yep. That's. So, sanity checks, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hunter definitely heard Lois's name.
Oh yeah, he screamed that.
Lena,
yelled
why
at
are you the worst?
God,
Just my
failed
friend.
again.
It's fine.
It's like, it's my friend. Anyway, boyfriend.
She did say it's for the best.
Oh yeah.
I trust her.
I never liked her.
She knows what she's doing. She's the grown woman.
All right. So,
Worst person.
did it roll? Did it not roll? It didn't roll. 3 points of sanity loss. Y'all got lucky. That was a D8. Anyone who failed gets 3 points of sanity loss. Anyone who succeeds is gonna they only get a D4 instead of a D8. They get take 2. As you see, Lois willingly, happily getting pulled into this tub by a creature with so many eyes. And then, Hunter, you hear a little voice over your shoulder say, "Now that's a Shoggoth." And with that is where we're gonna end our session for this evening.
Oh, God.
It's not for the best. But also, how was that kiss? Out of this world.
It really was.
The
So,
best.
God damn it.
and with that, yes.
Renee wins. Game's
Renee
over.
wins Call of Cthulhu. The DLC, which they already won the game on like session 4, 6 or something.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
Yeah.
With Lois going out like that, unfortunately, this is Renee's last day here with us at Beyond the Mountains of Madness. We thoroughly enjoyed her and loved her being there. It was an absolute, utter delight and pleasure to have you. So we're going to go around, we're going to say, who we are, where we can find you, and also just what were your thoughts on the campaign in general, specifically for Renee, because this is your last day. So we'll let you start.
Okay, so hi, I'm Renee, and this is my first campaign playing Call of Cthulhu, and I could not have picked a better group for it. Things were tense, and they got tense pretty quickly, keeping us on the edge of our seats, but at the same time, there was always something to laugh about, and we've been calling this campaign Smooches and Ice since very early on, so when I had to go, there was the only obvious choice was to kiss a Shoggoth. Smooches and Ice. And I really love this group. I'm so grateful to Lindy for working with me. She's a fantastic storyteller. All of her characters are interesting and engaging. And again, I had a lot of weird, unexpected stuff come up. I'm leaving because I started a new full-time job yesterday. And I'm moving across the country for it, and it's on the heels of recovering from a pretty intensive surgery. So it's been kind of one thing after another, and being able to enjoy this game and this group and have such understanding and support meant a lot. So thank you all. Thank you so much. I do have another Nat 20 that I did not use, but would like to gift to Hollow for Sebastian being the only one to notice Lois was missing there at the end and come after her.
Heartbreaking.
And also witness the horror firsthand. So have a nat 20 on me. I'm
Thank
also
you.
Renee. I'm Renee. You can find me on Twitter at RayDNR. I have other streams that are later in the evening that I thankfully can still make, including Nerd Immersion on alternating Mondays playing D&D, and Scraticus Academy on Wednesdays, every Wednesday double feature playing Star Wars and Cypher System back to back. And hopefully be back on Encounter Roleplay before too long. I had such a great time, and yeah, thanks for having me, y'all.
We will most certainly miss you, and Lois will also be missed.
I'm gonna miss Lois. It's so sad to not see out the story I saw for her, but you know, you work with what you got.
You do, and we always have fan fiction, so and write whatever you want. I've definitely never done that post-campaign with any of my Call of Cthulhu characters. But anyways, we're gonna move on, and we're gonna see how today was for Crumpler. How are you doing?
Again, it's one of the very few campaigns where it's just like fantastic at the beginning, fantastic at the end. And again, gosh, but I want to start with the favorite part. I gotta go with the Lena and Lake reunion finally happened. And to be honest, I really was not sure that was ever gonna happen. I was just like, it's just gonna be a dead case, or like waiting for those kind of story modes to happen. And in case this never, in case I know, like we jotted off Elena, since I don't have the exact dimensions what it is, so I quickly jotted down what I imagined what Baxter would have wrote in translation. And I make sure to add a heart, peace symbol, and make sure smooches and ice.
I love it.
Yes,
I love it.
that is beautiful art right there.
Surely that will get us in good with them. They appreciate art.
Definitely. There's no way to make this that. Come on.
You know,
And where can we find?
Yes, you can find me on Twitter and Twitch under the same name, Crop64. You'll mostly find me on Sunday nights where I DM a D&D 5e campaign of Curse of Strahd with an all-female cast called themselves the Lovely Lady Crumps. Unfortunately, we will not be having a session this upcoming weekend because it is Easter Sunday, but we will continue after that. So you'll definitely see us on the 28th of April continuing our story, which they may or may not finally encounter Strahd.
That's always something. I DM'd Curse of Strahd once, and I've had many other encounters with Strahd and one-shots, and let me say, it always goes great. For me. Not the party. But anyways, speaking of going great, we've got Jimmersion.
Hey everyone, I am Jimmersion, Jim Moreno, Jimmersion across the internet's there. Favorite moments were all the tough decisions that the party had to make. Okay, do we stay here? Do we go? Do we stay here? Do we go? We find something else. Do we stay here? Do we go? I love those. It's guiding the game and it's tilting the moment, and Hunter's no longer really leading. It's because of his mental state right now. He's subject more to a group matter, but he's still going to try to do his job as long as he can think properly, and that's slipping away very quickly the more things we see. And now, having witnessed what he has about Lois, there's some background to probably come out, and that's that's going to it's going to hurt him probably. Yeah. Oh, and I'm down to 20. I'm at 22 sanity right now, so yeah.
Oof. Don't worry, if you guys make it out, you'll have a whole sabotage-free boat ride home where the doctor can attempt to apply some psychiatric therapy.
Yeah, long boat ride with a lot of couches.
Still retiring. Still retiring in Australia. That idea is still on the table.
Yep, lots of kangaroo burgers. We also have the fantastic Little Cup of Joe.
Hi, I'm Jess, Little Cup of Joe. This was amazing. This continues to be amazing. This whole group is amazing. Yay, I found my professor boyfriend. That's wonderful. I I have questions as to whether or not he is, in fact, okay. But that doesn't matter to Lena. I've been banking my sanity, loving being able to succeed on those rolls because I was expecting to drop most of it right here, right now. Had a plan. It's fine. She's fine. I'm fine.
We're all fine.
Everything's fine. And there's your segue.
Speaking of fine, we got my dear cousin, Pro Restarter.
Hey, cousin, that's weird, but okay.
From the south. It's not that weird.
Oh God.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I have done wrong. I'm giving you that.
I just forgot we were cousins is all. It's fine. It happens all the time.
It's gonna. Hey, I'm fucking. It's a great game today. Super sad. Ray, Renee is going. But yeah. I got to play with Renee, and I get to play with everyone here. Favorite part of today was definitely the ending. Was just that I'm just gonna kiss it. It's like, oh, okay, we're doing this. Okay, well, that's how we all
Joking
should
about it
go.
all season.
I know, right? Okay. Great. But yeah, no, thank you for DMing Lindy as always. I am Pro Restarter. Catch me on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram, all under the same name. And back to you, cousin.
All right, thanks, cousin. And last but certainly not least, we have a Hello Tale. You've seen some shit.
Hey, yeah, I certainly have. In game and out, apparently. But yeah, so yeah, no, I'm a Hollow Tale. It's lovely to be here as always, and I think there was a lot of good moments in that episode. I think that personally, one of the big moments was definitely the end. Seeing Lois commit to what you were doing, like seeing you actually commit with Lois to doing that, achieving the smooch, and also having that be the one that took you out is that was definitely fitting. I also think it's going to be very sort of long lasting, and it's going to be interesting to see how we all adapt to that, because losing somebody who's been as big a part of the group as Lois has this entire time suddenly in such a way is going to be interesting to deal with. So yeah, and it's been amazing to play with you as well, Renee. And yep, as usual, brilliant to have been playing in your game, Lindy. And the rest of you are amazing as always. I'm Hollowtail. You can find me on YouTube at Hollowtail, where I do various tabletop RPG videos, mainly analysis and lore videos. There's a new one coming out tomorrow on liches, which is going to be fun. And aside from that, I do streams every 2 weeks roughly on my channel, which is the next one is going to be a Victorian horror RPG, not this Saturday coming, the next, which features a few people from this, and we're having a blast with. So yeah, thank you for having me.
Awesome. And I'm Lindy. I'm Laugh Love Lindy. You can find me online on Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube as such. Oh gosh, so many favorite moments. I really liked scheming with Renee on how we were gonna go. I was like, there's gonna be a few options here, and then I was like, you want to smooch the Shoggoth? And she was like, yeah, I want to smooch the Shoggoth. And I was like, perfect. The first Shoggoth you guys actually you smooch it. I love it. I've never seen anyone smooch a Shoggoth in Call of Cthulhu before, and I've played it for 2 years now, so congratulations, you've achieved peak Cthulhu-dom. Peak smooch is nice. I don't think I'm gonna be able to top first. Probably not the last. Based on everyone's sanity scores here. But yeah, I really enjoyed just this whole episode was great. Just seeing everyone kind of really get conspiracy theory-y today, and wait, maybe we shouldn't have murdered those elder things. Maybe they are intelligent and not actually. Maybe they're not the bad guys here. I liked that realization that the group had today. That was super fun. But yeah, I'll be online in an hour. I will be DMing Mists of Ravenloft, where my poor hapless adventurers there are going to be on a 3-hour camel tour in Harakir. Definitely no mummies or werejackals will be spotted at all. Yeah, definitely come check that out. And of course, Encounter Roleplay. If you're watching on YouTube, definitely try to check us out live every Tuesday from 5 to 8 p.m. Eastern. I know what time this show starts. And World Tree Burns had their fantastic season finale last week, and we are the first and last show of the day. So I hope everyone has a fantastic evening, and we will be back tomorrow afternoon with more Call of Cthulhu. Bye.
Bye.